You can make $600 to $800 in a couple of hours fixing small scratches on cars. And in this video, I'm breaking down the mobile repair system that I used to build my mobile paint business, from what tools you actually need to how to do the repairs fast, how to price your services, and how to get customers consistently. And at the end, I'll show you the math on how just one job a day can replace your full-time income. To start, let's talk equipment, because this is where most guys that I talk to light money on fire. You do not need a full body shop on wheels to make money doing this. Since 2011, my business has generated millions of dollars working out of simple mobile setups. And looking back, what actually made us money wasn't some fancy tool wall. It was just a basic core kit. Here's the whole starter setup: an air compressor, a sander, small HVLP spray guns, a heat gun, an air blow gun, and a buffer. That's it. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt this video for a really quick second. If you're a hands-on car enthusiast and you want to build a real business with the kind of freedom that most people only talk about, this opportunity might make a lot of sense for you. Just click the link down in the description to work with me directly inside my mobile auto body accelerator. Now, let's get back to the video. Now let me save you from buying the wrong stuff. Your compressor needs to do three things. It needs to plug into a standard outlet so you're not tripping breakers at customers' houses. It needs to be able to keep consistent pressure so your spray gun doesn't sputter mid-pass, and it needs to be portable because this is a mobile business. Here's a rule of thumb. If it's portable, runs on normal power, and can run an HVLP gun without coughing every few seconds, you're good. You can start with a solid unit for around 500 bucks. There's no need to overspend here. Next is a sander. This is one of the most used tools in the entire process. And I'm going to be totally transparent with you guys. My guys used $70 sanders from Home Depot for years, and they made us a lot of money. You'll use it to remove damage, prep surfaces, feather edges, and even refinish wheels and headlights. Now let's talk spray guns. This is the one that everybody fixates on, especially brand names. But the truth is, the customer doesn't care what brand of gun you used. They just care about the result. We used small HVLP guns powered by a compressor for all 14 years. You can start with a solid setup for just a couple $100, and you can upgrade later if you want. Now let's talk some small but important tools. These are cheap, but they matter. First up is a heat gun. It speeds up drying and saves you a ton of time on every job. Then you've got an air blow gun. Keeps everything clean so your finish comes out right. And finally, a buffer. This is what makes that final result pop. Now here's the key point. None of this is complicated or crazy expensive. All in, you can realistically be rolling for about 2,500 bucks, maybe even less. Honestly, it just depends on what you already have. So now that you've got the tools, let's talk materials, because this is what determines how fast you finish jobs and how much you make in a day. And this is where a lot of people get intimidated, because they picture this giant mixing bank in a 20-foot trailer matching paint by eye like some kind of magical paint wizard. But that is not what we're doing here. This business is built around small, controlled repairs. You're fixing a specific area, blending into the surrounding paint, and keeping the whole job tight and efficient. So here's the materials you actually need. You're really only working with just base coat, which is your color, clear coat, which is your final finish, and small amounts of primer or filler, depending on the damage. That's it. And because these are very small repairs, you're using way less material than people think, which is exactly why you can finish jobs in just a couple of hours and not a couple of days. Your only goal is very simple: make the damage disappear and blend it cleanly into the surrounding area. And I hear this all the time.
Yeah, but what about color matching?
Well, here's the reality. All modern vehicles have paint codes. You grab the paint code off the car, usually on the door jamb, and you plug it in your Paint Lines app, and it tells you exactly what to mix. And guys, we're not mixing paint in like gigantic buckets here. We're carrying toners in small bottles and mixing by gram weight on a small scale, so it's controlled and repeatable. Plus, when you're blending into a small area and you don't need perfect across the whole panel, you need a clean blend, and that is a learnable skill. Now, once you understand this approach, you realize you're not doing traditional body work. You're doing high margin, small repairs that are faster, simpler, and way more profitable for your time. Now let's talk about how the repair actually works, because this is the part that most people think takes years to learn. But when you see the workflow, you realize it's the same repeatable process every single time with just minor variations. So here's the basic flow that I teach. Step one, you want to assess the damage, what you can take versus what you skip. First, you're going to look at the damage to look to see if it's a scratch, if it's a scuff, or a small gouge in a bumper. You're not taking on major collision work here. There's no massive dents, no structural stuff, and definitely not the entire side of a vehicle. You're focusing on small cosmetic damage that you can fix quickly and get paid for fast. Now, step two is the prep. This is where the quality comes in. And here's a pro tip while we're talking prep. Primer and paint will not hide imperfections. You must make sure that your finish is smooth and free from defects before applying your primer and paint. So we're just gonna sand the area, we're gonna smooth it out, and we're gonna get it ready for primer and paint. And if needed, you apply some plastic or body filler, but the goal is simple. Just a clean, smooth surface with a soft edge that you can blend into. And step three, now you apply your base coat or your color. And you're not painting the entire side of a vehicle. You're blending into the surrounding paint. And that's what keeps this fast and efficient. You're not repainting the whole car, you're just making the damage disappear. And step number four, you clear it. Clear coat is what gives you that gloss and that protection. You apply it over the repair area, you let it cure, and now you've basically recreated the factory finish in that particular section. And step number five is the finish work. You make it look invisible with buffing and polishing. And this is where you're gonna wet sand if needed, and then buff everything out so it matches cleanly with the rest of the panel. And that's the process. Not 50 steps, just a simple workflow that you repeat over and over. And the more that you do it, the faster that you get, and the more confident that you get, and the more you can make in a single day. Now, in the beginning, yeah, you'll take longer, but that's completely normal. But once you get this down, these repairs can realistically be done in like 2 to 3 hours, which is how you start stacking multiple jobs if you want to, or keeping it simple and doing one high profit job per day without being stuck on one car all day long. Now let's talk about how you actually get customers, because this is where most people get stuck. A lot of guys think, I'm not a marketer, or I don't want to chase people down all day. Well, the good news is you don't have to chase. With paint and bumper damage, people already want it fixed. Your job is just to make sure that you show up when they're already looking. Now, the best place to start is Google, because that's where buyers go with money in hand. When someone types scratch repair near me, or bumper repair city, or mobile paint repair city, you want to show up. That's why your Google business profile is one of the most valuable assets in this business. Here's the minimum setup that actually works. You want to have your business name plus service area. Your city and the nearby suburbs that you drive to. You're going to need to have the right categories like auto painting, a clear description that says what you do, like bumper scuffs, scratches, small paint repairs, mobile. You're going to want to have a bunch of before and after photos, not just 3. You want it to look real. And a simple review plan to get your first 5 reviews fast, because reviews are what makes strangers trust you. Now, once that's in place, Google starts doing what it does best, and that's sending you people who are already searching. Now, your before and after photos are your best marketing. Proof is the #1 way to get people to trust you. Here's a simple rule to follow when taking your before and after photos. You want to take them from the same angle at the same distance. You want good daylight, obviously, when possible, and you want to show the damage clearly and then the finished result. That one habit builds trust faster than any branding ever will. And then you're going to want to post them to your Google business profile and to your social pages so people who click around can see proof immediately. Now, once Google is set, you can layer in simple customer sources like IG and Facebook Reels, local Facebook groups, like community pages, and neighborhood groups. Just keep it simple. One post, clear photos, and a line like mobile bumper scuff and scratch repair in city. Send a pic, and I'll tell you if it's fixable and what it costs. Most guys chase dealerships and volume work contracts, low margins, major competition. Meanwhile, the residential market is wide open. Every day, regular people are driving around with scratches and scuffs, and they just want someone reliable who can come to them to fix it. So if you get your Google profile right, stay consistent with your before and afters, and make it easy to contact you, you don't have to chase customers. Once you have the foundation in place, they start coming to you. Now let's talk pricing, because this is where most people either overthink it or they way undervalue what they're doing. One of the biggest mistakes I see is guys trying to price this like a traditional auto body shop. Labor hours, shop rates, and adding in material costs. That is not this model. In mobile repair, you're pricing based on value, the value of the repair, and the convenience. You come to them, you save them time, and you fix something that they care about really fast. So here's a simple way to price. Instead of like 20 different tiers, just think of it like 3 buckets. Bucket number 1 is small, quick repairs, like bumper scuffs, small scratches. This is your lower range. Then your second bucket or your medium repairs or your bigger scuffed areas, a little more prep, and maybe a tougher location. This is going to land you somewhere in the middle. And then bucket number 3 is your more involved cosmetic repair. These are deeper gouges that are going to require body filler, shaping filler. This is your higher range. For most single repairs, you're typically living in that $600 to $800 range. And that number makes sense because the customer isn't comparing you to like detailing. They're comparing you to the hassle of an auto body shop. You're right in the middle, right? Not bargain basement, but not full-on repaint pricing. It's fast, it's convenient, it's professional. Now, exact numbers are going to vary by area, but the structure pretty much remains the same. Now, one thing I always recommend is to have a minimum, because even a tiny job still costs you drive time, setup, tear down, and your skill. So your minimum makes sure that every job is worth doing, and it keeps you from filling your day with a bunch of low profit work. Now, once you've done a handful of jobs, pricing becomes really straightforward. You look at the damage, you instantly know what tier it falls into, and you quote confidently. There's no complicated formulas or guessing. It's just a simple structure that supports that $600 to $800 per job model. All right, now let's talk about how to actually sell these jobs, because this is where a lot of people get in their head. They think, I'm not a salesperson, or I don't want to be pushy. But guys, this is one of the easiest services to sell because the problem is already visible. The customer can walk outside, look at their car, and see exactly what they want fixed. So you're not having to convince them that they have a problem. You're just showing them that you have a solution and making the next step easy. When someone reaches out, here's the flow. Get the right info fast. So send me 2 to 3 photos, 1 close up, 1 from a few steps back, and tell me the year, make, and model and your zip code. That's it. That instantly tells you what you're working with and filters out any time wasters. Now, next, you're going to diagnose and recommend based on what you see. So you keep this simple. Say, yep, this is a good candidate for a mobile repair. Here's what I'd do. Prep it, blend it, color, clear it, and finish it so it matches. You're positioning yourself as the professional, not a guy trying to get a job. And third, show them proof. I did one almost identical last week. Here's the before and after. This removes fear way faster than explaining. Fourth, give the price cleanly. Then you say something like, for that repair, you're looking at such price. That includes me coming to you, materials, and getting it finished so it matches. There's no long speech, there's no nervous energy, and then just stop talking. And finally, close with a clear next step. So instead of let me know, give them two options. I can get you in day and time option A or day and time option B. Which one works for you? That's how you book jobs without being pushy. The biggest thing that kills sales is over explaining. If you hesitate on the price, or you start rambling about the process, or you sound unsure, people are going to feel that. Clear and direct wins. So here's what I recommend. Here's how I'd fix it. Here's the price. Here are the next openings. All right, so here's some quick objection handlers. Just keep it calm. You're going to hear these sometimes. That's more than I expected. You say, totally fair. Just so you know, we're about 40 to 60% less than a body shop, and you're paying for the convenience and same-day service without any of the hassle of a body shop. If you want, send me what area you're comparing it to, and I'll tell you what's different. Or you might hear, let me think about it. You say, no problem, I'll hold one of those time slots for today. Do you want tomorrow or Friday if you decide to move forward? Or you might hear, I received a lower quote from someone else. You might say, well, some people will quote low to try and get the business. Are they coming to your home and performing the repair the same day? If lowest price is the goal, they might be a better fit. If convenience and a clean result is the goal, then that's exactly what I do. The truth is, not everyone is going to say yes, and that's totally fine. The right customers are the ones who value convenience and want it done right without the body shop hassle. And if you do a great job, they're going to become repeat customers. And once you've got clear communication, proof photos, and a simple pricing structure, selling becomes one of the easiest parts of the business. Now let's hit the biggest mistakes, because these are the profit killers that make guys quit. Mistake number one, taking the wrong jobs. Don't try to do everything. It's like multiple panels down the side of the car or heavy body work. This model is small, repeatable cosmetic repairs. That's where the speed and margins come from. Mistake number two is overcomplicating the process. You don't need a shop. You don't have to have perfect conditions or 10 different techniques to do something. It's the same workflow every time. Prep right, blend clean, and finish properly. Mistake number three is rushing the prep and finishing. If you rush the prep or the final finish, you're going to see it immediately. Edges, lines, mismatched texture. If you've only got one job for the day, just take your time and do it right. You're still only basically working like part-time hours. Mistake number four is charging like you're just a guy with some tools. If you discount too fast or you try to win on price, you are gonna stay broke. You're selling a specialized result and mobile convenience. The right customers are gonna pay for that. Mistake number five is no system. This is a big one. Plenty of guys have some tools and they have some skill, but they don't have a system for getting customers, for pricing consistently, or for running the same workflow every single time. And without that, it turns into a hobby instead of a business. Now, if you avoid those mistakes, the income math gets really simple. Let me show you how $800 a day actually breaks down. Most of these small repairs fall into that $600 to $800 range. And once you've got the workflow down, a lot of them can be done in like 2 to 3 hours. So let's just keep it conservative here. Say you average $600 per job. If you do one job per day, that's $600 a day. Over a 5-day week, that's $3,000 a week. Over a month, that's roughly $12,000 a month in revenue. And remember, on these small repairs, you're not burning through massive material costs here. Materials vary, but it's typically a small slice of the ticket compared to what you're charging for the result and the convenience. Now here's how you can get to the title number, $800 a day, without needing a shop or employees. So scenario A, you land a job at $800. That's one job, one driveway, done. Scenario B, you do a $600 repair and you stack on a second small add-on repair the same day that brings you to over $800. Or scenario C, you get faster and your average ticket moves up because you price confidently and you stop discounting. The point is, you don't need to be booked solid all day. You don't need employees and you don't need a shop. You only need two things: a repeatable workflow that produces a clean result and a consistent way to land one solid job per day. And once you're consistent, that's when you get to choose. Do I do more jobs? Do I raise my prices? Do I scale this? But it all starts with the foundation: one job, one day, done the right way. If you're watching this and thinking, okay, the math makes sense, I get the tools, I get the materials, I get the process, but you're still stuck on, how do I get customers consistently? How do I price this without second guessing myself? How do I know I'm doing the repair the right way so I don't get comebacks? That's the gap. And that's exactly why I built the Mobile Auto Body Accelerator. Because the difference between this being a cool idea and this being your actual income is having a real system and someone to help you apply it. So if you want my help personally and you want the step-by-step system to go from where you are now to consistently booking high-margin mobile repairs, here's what to do next. Just click the link down in the description and apply for the Mobile Auto Body Accelerator. Inside, I'll help you set up your customer acquisition system the right way so you're not relying on luck. Dial in your pricing so you can confidently charge $600 to $800 per job. Master the mobile paint workflow so your results look professional, and build this like a real business without needing a shop, employees, or guesswork. Now, this is a mentorship program, so it's not for everyone. But if you're a hands-on car enthusiast who's serious about building a high-income mobile business around cars, and you want to do it faster with guidance instead of trial and error, just hit the link, fill out the application, and I'll see if it's a good fit. And if you're not ready for that yet, no problem. You're just going to want to watch this next video right here.